Rossi looks like a strong operator, but after testing her, I don't think she's a must pull. And honestly, most players probably should skip. But let me show you why before you spin your pulls. So Rossi can play a main DPS or she can play a sub DPS. She is a bit of a hybrid, and what really helps her to do this is a unique mechanic that's first time in this game that's unique to her. And it's not difficult, but you do need to make that mechanic work for you to have the full potential of Rossi, because with that mechanic, she adds a lot of fluidity to the teams that she plays on. So let's take a look at that mechanic and kind of explain to you how it works. So Rossi's mechanic is part of her combo. And basically, her combo is going to be triggered when the enemy has a vulnerability and an art's infliction at the same time. And her combo has two parts. The first part, you're going to see Rossi just basically run up and attack the enemy, and then she's going to backflip off of the enemy, and then now you're going to see a glowing circle around her avatar. And you have to time this. You have to press the button, the attack button again, like right here, and that's when you're going to get the second part of a combo. And you can make her execute the combo regardless, but if you time it correctly, you're going to get 2 stacks of vulnerability, 1 from each hit. If you mistime it, then you're only going to get that 1 stack. The best gear is going to be the MI security set. You're going to get the body armor, and you're going to get the 3-piece set effect where you get the critical rate boost, and you're going to get a 5% attack boost, and you want to use the one that has agility and intellect, and you're going to double up on the MI security scope T1 to get double up on the agility and intellect and critical rate boost. So the best weapon for Rossi is going to be the Lupine Scarlet, which is a signature weapon. You're going to get an agility boost, a critical rate boost, and fracture called Gnashing Wolves. So this is basically designed for, of course, it's a signature weapon. Why wouldn't it be? Now, an alternative is going to be Rapid Ascent. And what makes this a good alternative is that you get the main attribute boost, but you also get a critical rate boost, which is really good for Rossi and her kit. This one has Twilight, Azure Clouds, but the fact that it has main attribute and critical rate is what makes this a great alternative. So as the main DPS, I like to always team her up with Gilberta. And that's also going to have Adelia and Ember on this team. And I like Ember because she can also apply vulnerability, and also she heals. And Ardelia I like for the susceptibility and the healing, and Gilberta for her vulnerability and her actual ult. And then I use Rossi's ult for the main source of damage for this team. Now as a sub DPS, I have Administrator at the controlled operator spot, and Rossi's going to play basically the same role. I'm going to use a combo to get the 2 stacks of vulnerability combined with Gilberta. I'm going to use susceptibility from Adelia and Gilberta, and I'm going to use the ult from Rossi and the ult from Administrator to do even more damage for this physical team where she's a sub DPS. So first thing you're going to do is the 5-hit combo of Rossi to trigger Ardelia's combo, and after that you're going to use the skill of Ardelia to transform the corrosion into susceptibility. And next you're going to focus on getting vulnerability and an infliction on your enemy to trigger the combo of Rossi. And with that combo you're going to get 2 stacks of vulnerability, and you can get that 4th stack of vulnerability from using another skill of Rossi, or you can get hit and let Amber put the vulnerability on there. And then you're going to go into the ults. You're going to start off with Rossi's ult, and then you're going to follow it with Gilberta, because Gilberta's ult only gives a bonus of 5 seconds. So you don't want to start Gilberta too early. And that's going to maximize your damage for this team. Now when playing Rossi as a sub DPS, you're going to do the same thing because Rossi plays the same. You're going to get the 5-hit combo, you're going to get the susceptibility from Ardelia, and then you're going to start focusing on the vulnerability and the infliction to trigger the combo of Rossi. And Rossi's going to put 2 stacks of vulnerability on there, and you're going to get one more stack of vulnerability. But now the ults, you're going to start off with Rossi, and then you're going to use Gilberta, but then you're going to finish with Administrator. And that's going to give you a lot of physical damage for this team where she's a sub DPS rather than a main DPS. Alright, so is Rossi worth it? So I'm going to break it down into 3 groups. Pool if you are building a physical team, or if you are new to the game and this is your first featured operator. She's not bad if you want to go for her because she can really help you. She can build a good team. She's easy to play with, and she makes a team really flow well if you can build a team around her. I will say skip if you already have a physical team. If you already built your physical team, because there are physical teams out there that really play well and that do damage. I would say skip if you have a main damage dealer. Like say you just built a cryo team around Tong Tong. There's no reason for you to pull her and go and try to build another physical team. Tong Tong and her teams play really well and can clear everything. So there's nothing about her that makes her a must pull. Nothing that's going to say that in the future she's going to have to be one of the most used operators. And then the third group, I'm going to say skip if you are on a budget. If you have to be really selective with your featured operators and your pools, I do not think she's one of the best out there. You should save it for the best support, like maybe a Gilberta, or the best main DPS, like a Levitane, or even a Tong Tong, who's not a main DPS, but she really makes the cryo team, and she really does. She really plays well. I like Tong Tong a lot more than her. I think Tong Tong is more of a must pull than she is. So with that being said, guys, if you are low on pulls, I would save. Hey, so thanks for watching, guys. All right, have a good one.